Good?
Good.
So my range attack is 5, so it's boosted to 8 against your defense of 13. So now I only need 5. And if they failed it, all 3 of them would have wasted their shot. And so now I get +3 to the power of the weapon, which is normally 12, so it becomes 15. So now I only need 4 or higher to kill him, as opposed to I would need 7 or higher to kill him before, which isn't too bad, which is why I said you don't necessarily have to combine. And that guy is now dead. If they had knocked out this guy, then these guys could fire at the next one, and since they're not simultaneous attacks, he would be out of shield wall. So I'll get the last 2, and they're going to combine fire against, actually no, he'll probably be out of range. So I'm going to have him just fire at the one in front. Yeah, see, that was wise, because the other guy would be out of range. And so I need an 8 to hit, because it's 5 versus 13, and I miss. So that's all the damage they're going to do. I know it seems brutal, you lost 3 guys, but you'll get your revenge. Let me just put it that way. This game is played in such a way that their motto is play like you've got a pair. And
oh, I got a pair.
Basically what it means is, and I often see this, it's the person who has the most guts to get stuff done. It doesn't mean that's the person to charge in wins, but it's the person who doesn't just kind of sit back and let the opponent decide what happens. You have to decide what happens. So my Warcaster still has to go. So Sorsha, what are you going to do? She's got a little gun as well. It's about as strong as these guys. It is exactly the same. She has the same rat and everything as them. So she's just as powerful as one of these guys in shooting her little gun. Except she has focus that she could boost it and do more damage with it. But what is she going to do? Although hers is a range of 12, which is nice. She also has some spells. You don't need concealment because you're not firing. Freezing grip, who cares? I guess I could try to freeze your Warjack in place, but no, I actually don't have enough focus for that. So, she's going to move up. We're going to try to kill a couple more Iron Fang. She's going to move up right here. She's going to measure her control area, which happens to be her weapon range.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it is. And so she can see that guy. So she's going to start, yeah, because it doesn't matter. You don't get any cover bonus for me for my guys blocking, as long as I can see it. So she's going to fire at him with her gun, which has a 12-inch range. And like I said, it's pretty much the same stats as them. So 5 against 13. So I need 8 to hit. Now I could use a die and boost this, but I'm going to save my dice to do a spell. So I need an 8 to hit. That's a good solid hit. And then it's 12 versus 14, so I need 3 to kill. So that one is now dead, so you need to swap it out because he was the squad leader. And then she's going to cast a spell called Razor Wind, which I think you have the same spell.
Yes, I do.
It costs 2 focus, has a range of 10. I'm going to cast it on the guy in front. I got a hit. I could have actually measured that beforehand because they were within my control. And it does power 12, which is just like the other weapon. I have 1 more of these left. Now, when you cast a spell, rather than using your range attack or your melee attack, you use your focus as your number. So yours would be 7, mine would be 6. So it's 6 versus 13. I really want this to hit, so I'm going to boost it. So I need 7. So there's a hit. And anytime you roll doubles, even if with 3 dice, if any of them are doubles, it's a critical hit. Now, critical hits only matter if the weapon has a rule that talks about what happens when a critical hit happens. Okay. Other than that, it doesn't really do anything. And then I roll the damage. It's going to be 12 versus 18, so I need 7 or higher to kill him. Aha, perfect. So the guy in front dies, which is your squad leader, so you swap him out. So you can see what happens when an entire army focuses on one squad. But your Warcaster, who is super powerful, and your Warjack, which is also very powerful, are completely unharmed because of your wind wall. So this should work out for you. And that is the end of my activation. So it is your turn. Sorry, my turn.
Right.
So your maintenance phase, nothing happens. You don't have anything to maintain. Your control phase, you get all 7. Now, before you allocate, may I make some suggestions?
Suggest away.
Some different things that you can do. You can obviously use your feet at this point. Mm-hmm. You might wonder why you need it, but the reason that you'd want to use it is to double his speed, because then you could do a trample power attack, and you could trample through these guys. If you can make it through it, in order to trample, you have to go in a straight line. You can only go through small bases, and you have to be able to completely get to the other side. If you can do that, then everything that you touched, you get to do a melee attack against.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, now a trample, unfortunately, is not within his feet. It's only run or charge without spending focus. So you still need to spend a focus, which would kind of ruin his feet a little bit because it only is half powerful. But in this case, it's a small game, so it's not too big a deal. So you could, and we could measure his control area right here, 14 inches. And so you can see that this starts at 2. To get to Sorsha is only 10 inches away. So if his speed was up to 8, he can trample 11 inches. So he can get to Sorsha. So if you drop 3 focus on the Jack, he can trample through all of them, which means he'll attack probably at least 3, maybe 4, most likely killing them because his power plus strength is ridiculous. And then he'll have 2 focus left, which he can use to buy extra attacks to attack Sorsha with. And even if he doesn't kill her, then you have Vlad, who can then have his own fun stuff that he can do. He'll have the 4 focus left over, right? Which means he'll have his Blood of Kings that he can cast on himself, which gives him a 9-inch speed, which gives him a 12-inch charge, which is exactly how far he is away from Sorsha.
Wouldn't he be in the way?
Not if he's dead because of him.
Aha.
Yeah, because you do have to charge in a straight line. And so if you can basically find a way to move your base so it just kind of go over that one, or you could even, with that in mind, trample and only purposely hit the 1. Maybe your goal is just to kill that. And if somehow you don't manage to kill it, you just end your Warjack right here and you buy your extra attack to kill him, because Vladimir will be very effective at killing her as well with his Blood of Kings on. Now it'll be risky, because if you don't kill her, I will definitely kill Vlad. Although I can't say definitely, because he'll have +3 defense and +3 armor. So it'll be a little hard to hit him.
You say that because your Warjack will then be able to go with
And
Warjack
and Sorsha will be there at full hitting strength right up against yours. So it's a gutsy maneuver, but it's called an assassination. It's where you see an opening and you ignore the rest of the army, which means if it doesn't work, you're dead. But if it does work, you win the game. So, and in this case, you actually have a really good chance of killing Sorsha, although she does have a rather high defense. But with his Blood of Kings, he'll have no problem hitting her because he'll have a +3 to his mat. And right now she has no focus on her, which means she has no bonus armor. Sorsha is hard to hit. She has a defense of 16, but her armor is only 14, which means she is easy to hurt once you get in there. So that is my suggestion. However, you can decide what you want to do. You can move him up here and have him do his 2 initial attacks against these guys and then buy extra attacks to kill the rest. You could have him trample through these guys and then focus all his extra attacks on my Warjack, maybe crippling him, going for more a war of attrition, using your other pikeman as well. And you even have the extra pikeman right there. Remember, he has an 11-inch threat range, 6 inches plus 3 inches on the charge plus 2-inch reach. So even if you need to just finish her off, he might be able to do that. So that would be my suggestion. I've kind of left myself a little open. It looks like I'm protected, but I'm not as protected as I look.
It's interesting because I was about to ask you if I could do something like that right before you suggested it.
Well, there you go. Great minds think alike, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's actually the most fun in this game, is finding those spots. It can also be the most frustrating when you're not ready for it. You're like, crap, how did I leave myself open like that? Mm-hmm. And then you lose because you're like winning, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, there goes your caster and I win. But you learn how to play the game. It takes a few games before you kind of figure out how not to get your caster assassinated all the time.
Okay, so 3 focus, allow them to the Warjack. And then...
Although there is one flaw I am seeing right now, just to let you know. If you want it to have double speed, he has to go first. He has to use his feet.
I see, okay.
So there is a flaw there. Now, there is a way around that flaw, in that you could have your pikemen go first and try to kill this Winter Guard guy. And that would clear the spot, because then he would go, use his feet, charge into Sorsha, and this one would trample in and attack Sorsha. So you'd want to charge. You have to charge in a straight line, but you don't have to charge directly at the model.
Okay.
So you could charge like this, and then you turn at the end of your charge and face the model you're attacking.
So I think I'll do that. So I lot this.
Yeah, that's the control phase. Now it's activation phase.
So I'll activate my pikeman first.
So you declare a charge against this guy.
Okay, so you declare charge.
One thing we didn't do, just for the record, in case you're catching this, is we didn't bother to do a command check when he lost most of his squad, which we should have done, but we're not worried about command checks right now.
Okay.
When you lose part of your squad, 50% of your squad, you have to make a command check or flee. So why don't you roll 2 dice really quick to see if he does. You have to roll 9 or less. There, he's fine. I just remembered that now because it actually doesn't come up very often because things usually get brutally massacred and with nothing left over. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So now with rate of fire, you can buy extra attacks depending on what the rate of fire is.
Yes.
But for melee, you can always
There's
buy extra
no limit.
attacks? Okay.
So he has 3 focus on him and he has 2 left over. He can take 2 extra attacks. And he can do it with the same weapon because his axe is more powerful than his fist. So you can actually do the axe over and over again. You don't have.
So if you know you're going to hit and hurt, it's more advantageous to attack multiple times instead of just boosting the attack.
Exactly. The averages work out that if your armor, if your strength is 2 less than their armor or higher, so if their armor is 14 and your power plus strength is 12 or higher, you buy extra attacks. But if it's less than 3 below their armor, you're going to have a harder time hurting them. So you boost it just so you can hurt them. So that's usually what you go by. If your power plus strength is 2 less than their armor or higher, then you don't bother boosting, you buy extra attacks. However, if they're really hard to hit, then you might not want to buy extra attacks because you still have to get the hits through. You might want to instead use a focus to boost your attack and do a better chance of hitting it. Which most likely, your Jack is 6 against my 16. He's going to have to roll 10 or higher. So he's probably going to get 1 attack against Sorsha because he'll have to boost the attack if he has any hope of hitting her.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's enough to overload your brain for a little while.
So, Iron Fan Pikeman can move. He can move his speed of 6.
Plus 3, but it has to go all in a straight line.
And then plus another 3.
Yeah, so he had 9-inch charge basically.
Okay.
And then he turns. You just quickly measure to make sure he's within 2 inches. Otherwise, it's a failed charge.
Okay.
He is. So now he can make his attack. So what's his mat?
His mat is 6.
Excuse me. And my defense is only 12.
Okay.
So you need to roll 6 or higher on 2 dice. So don't fail this.
Should be easy.
You got it.
All right.
Now, this is a charge attack. Your initial attack when you charge is automatically boosted. So you can take an extra die. What is his power plus strength on the weapon?
His 13.
Okay, my armor is 13, so my guy automatically dies. There's no way for you to fail that. Even triple ones does not count as a failure. Only in your skill rolls, when you roll for your range or melee attack, will a triple 1 or a double 1 be an automatic miss.
Okay.
So he's dead.
So now